Hello and welcome to the Listening Posts unboxing channel on YouTube. Today I'm unboxing an awesome integrated amplifier from Audiolab, their 7000A. Now the 7000 sits brilliantly between the lesser range of the 6000A and the 9000A. It shares a lot of the similar circuit topography. The main design that it shares, the main reason that it sounds so good is Audiolab's investment in exquisite power supplies, oversized caps to feed the transistors, and heaps and heaps and heaps of current. The design of course means that it's quite heavy, particularly for this beautiful little product. Then from a feature perspective they add ESS DACs on board and digital inputs and other things like that to give you a fully featured, fully functional and stunning sounding amp. Obviously the 7000 is more expensive than the lesser model, the 6000, but it also gives a lovely step, a really nice affordable step between an entry level and some of their higher end pieces, and it's easy to justify this product. Comparatively, it's extremely good value. So let's have a look. Like with all of the Audiolab in this category, again 6000 and 9000 and 7000s, all the packaging is basically boring brown boxes. What they've opted for to create sort of a freight carton or protection of the box sort of a thing is they've wrapped them all with plastic. So the first thing to do is sort of loosely score that plastic and get rid of it. It means that from a freight label and other things like that, it all gets torn away, and you end up with a fresh, dry, clean box ready to protect your product. Right, Audiolab. The boxing, again, very simple, Audiolab branding. It's handled with care, some basic stacking information on one side. Audiolab and the model, which is a 7000A, along with a hint of some of the feature set that we're going to see on board. It's room tested, Bluetooth, DSD, Bluetooth with aptX, MQA decoding, all sorts of things on board. Audiolab is backing up their build quality with a 3-year warranty. There's a QR code there to go to Audiolab's website if required. On one side we've got the scannable information associated with the model and the serial number, along with some basic other things like the model and stuff as well. The boxes are sealed closed with sort of a fabric packing tape, so very straightforward to get open. But unlike traditional sellotape, which requires just a few nicks and it will sort of tear, it requires the knife to run across it, hence why I've lifted it and I'm very careful with the depth of the knife. Nevertheless, opening it up, we see again some similarities between both the 6000 and the 9000 we've seen previously. Firstly, the unit itself is protected with closed cell foam on all sides. There's accessories. So this piece of foam, by the way, you can sort of see how it's got ridges. That's to protect the knobs on the front of the unit that you'll see. There's an input selector and a mode and a volume, obviously. So that sits down brilliantly, and then the packaging for the accessories are in the box as well. Nevertheless, the box itself has sort of like a part number. These are the accessories associated with the 7000A. Opening this box is really, really easy, and you will see a New Zealand IEC earthed power cord and Audiolab's sort of system master remote control. The remote is sellotaped closed inside a bubble bag, and like with a lot of things we're seeing nowadays, the remote's actually not supplied with batteries, although the flap at the back alludes to the fact that a couple of AAA batteries and away you go. This is a remote control designed to be a system remote across all of the Audiolab range, and so it has some buttons that are not utilised for the amplifier but are more used to the likes of CD players and other things like that. Opening and closing is a very good example. It's worth mentioning that it has 3 buttons associated with whether or not this is operating the CD player, the amplifier, or the network streamer. It reminds the unit what IR codes to use, basically. Okay, it's got a lovely fit and feel, and again, because you get the opportunity of one remote control to operate everything, it's much simpler from a user perspective as well. In the top, and again I'll just tilt it forward, we see a heavyweight Ziploc bag with a full instruction manual associated with this integrated amplifier. Again, obviously the 7000A user manual, and again repeating the 3-year warranty that these products are coming with. At the back there's a bit of information about Roon and other basic freebies as well. Lifting it out, it's really straightforward. The closed cell foam is cut to the size and shape of the unit, and you can see how well it has been protected in the freight. In the bottom of the box, before we get rid of it, there's a couple of desiccant bags, so very straightforward. Get rid of it. Rolling it off the last piece, again, off it goes. We get the opportunity to take the final piece of protective packaging off, which is one of these bubble paper bags. A simple nick, and the bag itself is slid very easily off the unit. Roll it over. Now, it's worth mentioning, just pausing briefly, there's a couple of things to look out for on the bottom. Firstly, lots of ventilation to ensure this unit doesn't overheat. Lovely rubber padded feet. This is both to absorb the microscopic vibrations associated with its electrical use. There's some weird science behind that, by the way. Also, if it's in a stack of things, it ensures that perhaps the CD player or the network streamer or something like that has ample ventilation and so on. The last thing though, and the reason I'm pausing, is to show you this big bolt for the large, oversized toroidal power supply. And again, that's the main character, and one of the reasons that it's a little bit heavy off one side. It's the investment in the quality of that power supply and the silence that it delivers to the next, essentially the transistors, because let's be honest, the power supply feeds the transistors. The transistors do their job to amplify the signal, and then it ends up in your speakers. If the power supply is not on point or it's noisy, guess what it's going to feed through the system? Just a lot more noise. So it's wonderful that that investment has been made, and with that, the lower noise floor associated with anything in this price. This is likely to be better, likely to be cheaper, and really will sound a lot better. Nevertheless, looking at the front, unlike the very muted design of the 6000 range and the full colour display of the 9000s that we see behind us, this is a little bit sort of muted. Somewhere in the middle, I guess, where they've gone with a display centrally located, but it's not as shouty as the 9000s. Nevertheless, as we start over here, we've got the Audiolab logo, a simple on-off, it's a standby, an infrared sensor, and a 1/4-inch headphone socket, clearly labelled. The next is a volume control, again very straightforward. It's got a nice little feel to it. The central display that I mentioned, and then a mode. Now it's the mode that's a little bit more interesting. The mode allows this amplifier to switch between a preamp mode, a power amp mode, or an integrated amplifier mode, allowing you to manage the circuit in and out of this for the best upgrade path that you might be considering. Then you've got a selector knob, which essentially is to change the input selection. The on-screen display and everything like that is easy to navigate, and again it allows you to set up things associated with its operation. Tilting it forward, we see the other half of the ventilation we saw on the bottom, and again to ensure that it runs cool. Turning it around, it's not very deep, and again this form factor is very similar to the rest of the Audiolab range. At the back we see the investment and the inputs and outputs that Audiolab have ensured are in a very modestly priced product. The first and boring side of things is a simple rocker switch and an IEC power socket for the power, obviously. It's fused. There's a simple left and right output for the speakers with a 5-way binding post. Beside that, there's a 12-volt trigger in and out, allowing this to be turned on by an external device, or it turn on an external device that is part of the source chain. There's a USB simply for software updating, and then we've got the myriad of digital inputs that sets this apart from anything else in its price. Firstly, we see an HDMI capable of getting the audio return from a television or related device. Then a coax marked coax 1 and beside it optical 1, and then a repeat of that with a coax 2 and optical 2. The USB input is where the ESS DAC that's on board is really going to get its work cut out for it, because it will run DST 512 or something very, very high end, so it's brilliant to see. You've got the inputs and outputs associated with the selector knob on the front associated with the pre-power combinations, and then traditional analog inputs, and there's quite an array of them. Last of all, we've got an analog input specifically for the onboard phono preamp, and it's excellent that Audiolab haven't scrimped on it. It's got an excellent ground and, from a moving magnet perspective, an excellent phono preamp on board. We've got the serial number and other things you would expect. Oh, and of course the screen printing associated with DSD and other things along those lines. So to recap, it's got onboard Bluetooth, decoding of MQA, it's room ready and all of those types of things. It'll run DSD up to 512, and this is all on board of an integrated amplifier that, for its price, sounds amazing as a standalone analog device. So it's wonderful that Audiolab have piled on some extra features for it as well. So there we have it. The Audiolab 7000A integrated amplifier. Stunning. 70 watts a channel, 110 watts into 4 ohms, 9, 10, 12 amps of current. It's brilliant. It's wonderful to have shared this brilliant new amplifier with you today here at the Listening Post in Christchurch, New Zealand. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more, subscribe to our channel.